I see you, Ish. I see you playing ball with the dance move. Go ahead, get your little something. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Kinfolk and Nem. Don't be over there smiling. You better go ahead and crack that dance for you. Don't be shy with the countdown. I see you. Anyways, we're back with another episode. X Williams in the building. Ish, Brett, Greg, and of course, Napoleon is not here just yet, but he will be back. But for tonight, we have a very special guest, a local Houston rapper, member of We Fly High out here in Houston, Texas, and also a third member of Napoleon's rap group. Like I said, We Fly High. Sire, welcome to this show.
Peace and blessings, man. I'm honored and privileged to be here, man. You know, I love what y'all got going. I'm an avid watcher. I watch every week. I try to comment. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with what y'all doing, man.
Already, we really do appreciate that. Now, my boy Sire, he's no lies. He's been hitting me up saying, "Hey, get me on the show. I'm trying to get on here." And of course, I said, "No problem. We gonna get you on. Don't worry about it." Of course, as you see, we the Kinfolk, you and them. We gonna get it together. We gonna get this show rocking. Now, again, if you are a first time watcher, even if you are not a first time watcher, please make sure you like and share this broadcast so we can get more people to watch this broadcast. And if you are on our YouTube page, Facebook page, make sure you like and subscribe to our Kinfolk and Nem page, and make sure we get more people, like I said, watching the page. Now, if you have watched our show before, we are based out in Houston, Texas, but everybody for the show is, from different spots. But our roots are based out at Langham Creek High School. And anytime anybody is doing something well, Langham Creek, we must shout them out for the greatness that they are accomplishing. So a person that we want to shout out is Denai Strother. Shout out to her in opening up Division I Nutrition. Is located on FM 529 and Barker Cypress. They have their grand opening this Saturday. Please make sure you go and check it out. Time-wise, I want to say it's from 9 to 5. I want to get that correct. I want to say it's 9 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday. I will be there because I'm going to go pick me up a smoothie and whatnot and try out one of their delicious, nutritious drinks. Again, check out Division I Nutrition on their Facebook page. Check out their drinks. Looks really delicious, really refreshing. And again, that's our shout out for the day. Shout out to Denai. Keep doing big things. And we're going to get into the show. NFL Week 1 recap. Now, if you watched last week, we talked about this week when it comes to Week 1. And, the anticipated matchups, the big game, like I said, the big games that were finally here. What did you guys think? How did you guys feel? Ish, Brett, Greg, Sire, did you watch a little bit of it? What did you guys think?
I'll start. I got to watch most of the Cowboys game, and being in Dallas, it was fun to watch them lose. I know that some of you guys might not like to hear me say that, being in Dallas, but I've never been a Dallas Cowboys fan, so. Obviously, I know people on the Cowboys, and so I always want them to do well, but I can always care less if they win or not, as morbid as that sounds, But, I honestly thought for having no preseason, the games were okay. I'll leave it there. There was a lot of sloppy play, but, if you have no preseason, that's what you should expect. It wasn't super crisp. I would like to see the refs not. Well, the refs to me were too involved. Which means there was a lot of penalties. Is what I'm trying to say because it was so sloppy throughout the whole weekend. But especially the Michael Gallup and Jalen Ramsey play. If you guys saw that.
Now, okay, you know what? Hold on. Let's expand on that right now because we have two wide receivers, me and Brett. We have a DB that played in college with Ishmael. There was a lot of people that feel like that was not a push off. There were not a push off. There's people that feel like it was pass interference. What do you guys think?
It was pass interference.
And this is coming from a DB. I'm a wide receiver. I feel like it was pass interference.
Thank you.
I feel like first of all, he had him beat already. 2, he didn't have to extend his arm to create the separation that he had because he already had separation. He didn't need to extend his arm. So that not the Jalen Ramsey, did he exaggerate a little bit? Maybe he did. He probably did exaggerate a little bit. But what they gonna get you is extending the arm, just same way they do in basketball. Anytime you extend your arm, you're gonna get that call. And I know it might be a bad call at that time frame, but it was the right call. Brett?
I unfortunately have to agree with that. Because I hate when a receiver gets called for pass interference for personal reasons, obviously.
Which is like never.
That's not true.
And this is very true. I mean, no, seriously, if you think about it, offensive pass interference, it has to be very blatant for the offense to get a pass interference.
Yes. And I don't think, honestly, that was blatant enough to get called with 20 seconds left in the game.
But I'll say this, Brett. But look, though, as a wide receiver, if we were getting held with 20 seconds left to go, we would want that call, correct?
No, for sure, right?
That's all I'm saying. We gotta be fair.
You gotta be fair, and I understand both sides, right? But I think a lot of times they let that go with 20 seconds left in the game.
No, they didn't let it go. They shouldn't have let it go. It was pass interference. AJ Green also pass interference.
So it wasn't like he pushed and fully extended.
What are you talking about?
There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. There ain't no gray lines. There ain't no none of that stuff. We saw what happened on film.
A fully extended
hit a brick wall.
Ishmael, I'm talking. Please and thank you. No, I'm kidding.
No, the man hit a brick wall. You ain't see the way he reacted. He was like,
he fully extended. I get it, which is the definition of pass interference. I get it, right? But what I'm saying, it wasn't like he pushed off and
he pushed him. Did you not see the man's reaction? The man wasn't falling back like this for no reason.
You're going off the reaction,
Brad. He pushed him. He pushed him.
You're going off of the reaction.
Ain't nobody out here acting. DBs don't got time for that.
DBs don't have time to act.
Nah, we don't do that acting stuff. That we save that for the prima donnas, the wide receivers. DBs out there playing ball, man. That was a full push off.
Anyways, relax with the divas stuff. Cause there's definitely plenty of DBs who are divas. And let's remember, Jalen Ramsey is in LA, so there's plenty of acting skills and going on in LA. But I will say he didn't exaggerate, because look, Jalen Ramsey easily could have exaggerated to where he gave up on the play completely.
Yeah, he could have fell down or something.
Exactly. But he did enough to where the refs saw it and finished the play to where he got what he needed to get out of the play, which was, of course, the offensive pass interference call.
Smart, because he still made the tackle.
Agreed.
Because if he wouldn't have made a tackle, it could have been both ways.
It was pass
interference. He might not have gotten the call, right? So he made a tackle. That was really smart on his part.
Why are you still arguing about something you already admitted was pass interference? I don't even understand that.
I don't either. So that's why we're gonna end this whole beating a dead horse thing, and we're gonna go on to the next part of week 1. What were any games that surprised you besides the Cowboys and Rams? We're not talking about that game anymore. What was a game that surprised you that you were not expecting to happen?
Ooh, I got a lot of them.
All right, throw one out.
All right. Let me just say this. The NFL should be on notice. If the Chiefs got a running back, if my man Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it continues that, it's going to be a long year, bro. It's going to be
that's surprising.
His mama named him Clyde. I'm going to call him Clyde.
It's going to be a long year if that man continues it. Yes, it surprised me because I didn't know Kelechi Osemele played for the Chiefs.
Well, you late on that one. That was about a month and a half transaction. Kelechi Osemele signed with the Chiefs about a month and a half ago when the Chiefs guard was out for the season with the injury. They signed Kelechi, and he's been with the Chiefs ever since.
Wasn't that when you had the baby though?
Come on now, you're supposed to know about your African. You're supposed to know about your African boys.
I had a baby. I wasn't following that.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, another surprise: Russell Wilson throwing all them touchdown passes. Wow,
that's a surprise. That's a surprise.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm surprised Seattle was throwing the ball like that.
Not surprises yet, but okay, keep going.
Okay, sure, whatever. It's not really a surprise.
Nigga.
It's not really a surprise, but Lamar Jackson torching the Cleveland Browns, but it is the Browns. So
okay, hold on. All right, hold up. I'm talking about things. Hold on. I'm talking about things. Hold up. I'm talking about things like the
nigga.
Go.
Ishmael, what is your definition of surprise? Let's go. Because you're saying a bunch of obvious shit. This is really
obvious ass shit. He sound like a Ravens fan. Like, oh, we beat the Browns. You supposed to do that shit. What are you talking about?
It was a surprise. I'm not really a surprise. I'm saying like these are things that stood out. Let me just say that's what stood out. So,
anyways, I'm talking about surprises like the Washington football team beating the Eagles.
I'm talking.
That's a surprise.
What?
How's that not a surprise?
That's a surprise.
Wait, guys. Okay.
I agree with you, X. That's a surprise.
Wait, Ishmael, what did not surprise you this weekend?
What didn't surprise me?
Yeah.
What didn't?
Because that might be a surprise.
Tom Brady throwing a pick six didn't surprise me.
But you're back to the obvious.
DeAndre Hopkins lighting them boys up didn't surprise me.
But that game should surprise you. The Cardinals beating the 49ers. People weren't expecting that, except for me. If you check out the sports plug, you'll see that I went 13-3 on this week's pick'em. But like I said, a lot of people were not expecting for the Cardinals to beat the 49ers. So you could have said you weren't expecting that.
Why not?
You're done with surprises. Okay, X, what?
Yeah, let me keep going with my surprises. I said I got a lot of surprises. Y'all stop me.
No, we got plenty of topics tonight. We are not about to spend all night on Ish Surprises on week 1. Again, we have 16 more weeks of this. We're not doing this Ish tonight. Sorry, you got anything before we go on to the next topic?
Yes. Teddy Bridgewater threw a 75-yard touchdown pass. That surprised me.
And you know what? You know what's surprising? They lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, what's
surprising is the call that they made on that 4th down play where they try to hand it to the fullback when you got Christian McCaffrey. You could have ran it with him. You could have even done a quarterback sneak. The fullback died? Really?
You pay him $89 million to not get the ball at the end of the game, huh? Hey, welcome to Carolina. Hey, and also shout out before we get into week 1, shout out to Cam Newton out there doing his stuff. This one is yellow mask suit and whatnot.
Looking fly.
And also shout out to our kicker for redeeming himself. Shout out to the Titans, Steven Gronkowski with the horrible Monday night game, but redeeming himself when time is needed. 16-14 victory against the Denver Broncos. And like I said, we'll see y'all next week with week 2 recap. On to the next topic. Naomi Osaka wins 2020 U.S. Open. That makes her 3rd major championship, only trailing Serena by about another 20 majors. But she'll get there in due time. But for right now, it looks like with continued success, can Naomi Osaka become this generation Serena and or Venus Williams?
Absolutely. I say yes.
All right, elaborate.
Okay, so she's the youngest to do it. She's did it 3 years in a row. The chick who she beat, how you say her name? I don't know.
Svadlenka or something.
Ish got it.
Yeah. Let me. Hold on.
Nah, but that chick, she ain't no slouch on the tennis court, man. And then not to mention she's how you say it?
Azarenka.
Yeah.
Azarenka, right. She herself is a beast, and she came off having a kid to being right back in the number 1 contender spot, basically. Osaka had to work for that, and it wasn't like she was coasting. It wasn't easy. She had to come back at the end. Credit to her for doing it, but I just think she the one. Honestly, that's my conjecture.
Okay, all right, respect that. Now, of course, there was a lot of scrutiny amongst her tournament run, wearing masks of people's name that were unfortunately killed due to police brutality or just murdered, unjustly. And a lot of people felt like that wasn't the right platform to use her platform to do those things. She got attacked on social media and also, of course, through her actual fan mail, a lot of hate mail that came through. What does this show? Her strength to be able to fight through this tournament and win this. And also shout out to the haters. She actually said, the hate that she got made her play even more. She shouted out to Kobe Bryant, saying that she used him as motivation for this tournament. So for her to be such a young person, but be so strong minded at such a young age, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's very telling. I think the sky's the limit for her, honestly.
I think that was really important. The reason why I say that is I think it was really important, the statement that she made and what she's been doing, because one, she plays in a predominantly white sport. And I think it's easy for people to say like, oh, I'm not going to tune into football anymore. I'm not going to tune into basketball anymore because, those are predominantly black sports. So, really when they're saying that, there's also some racial underlying behind that of like, I'm not going to support the black people, right? But when it comes to tennis, that's a predominantly white sport. And for her to bring awareness in that sport is big on that stage. It brings attention to new eyes. Also, the fact that she is not, she's not historically what people would consider like a black activist kind of person, right? Like she's not dark skinned. She represents Japan when she's playing and stuff. She's half Japanese. So a lot of people would think like, oh, she wouldn't connect with that. She wouldn't, identify with that. But I think it's big that she makes that statement. She comes out, she, really holds that stance, only because it kind of re-emphasizes for those people who are thinking like, this is a Black American struggle. Like, nah, this is Black people around the globe. Like all Black people are feeling this and want this this change. And then what I hope from this is that we see some athletes in these other sports that are white, predominantly white, step up as well. So like golf, I would love if we would see something come out from golf. I don't know that you're going to, but it would be big. I think that would be huge if you saw somebody in golf.
Jordan Spieth. Yeah, I mean maybe Rory, but Rory from England, so I honestly don't expect that to happen. It would have to be somebody that's a younger person that gets it. The main person I can think of off the top of my head is just Jordan Spieth, honestly.
I mean, it would be nice to see some of that come out. I don't know that you will, but
my question is, do you think it will?
Nah, I don't think it will, because I think the people who participate in that sport, their political beliefs don't tend to align with that.
Yeah.
That, and also again, there are also personal beliefs. If they've never been through anything hard in their life, and I'm not talking about like, oh, you gotta live through the hood, live in the hood to go through a bad life. I ain't talking about that shit. I'm just talking about like a little struggle from here and there. Not being able to eat, one time a week or whatnot, just because maybe your lights turning off, one time throughout the year. Again, I'm not saying everybody's struggle is different. Everybody struggles a lot differently, but if you've always been fed 3 to 4 times meals a day, you have a plush bed to lay on, if you live in a multi-million dollar home, let's be real, your struggle is a little bit different than other people. So that's how I see on that. Brett, do you have anything to say about Naomi before you get up out of here with this next topic?
I mean, I like it. I like the fact, just like Ishmael said, that even though she's not necessarily like the prototypical activist type of person, that she still said something about it, because that also shows is that you don't have to be the stereotypical what it looks like to be an activist. Like anybody can do it, anybody can care, right? It's not just, you don't have to be a LeBron James, you don't have to be a Michael Jordan of your sport, even though I'm not saying she's not, because she's obviously good. But what I'm saying, like, you don't have to be like the face of something to care about other people. And so I hopefully, especially, I mean, it's good that it was in tennis, because like Ismail said, again, that's a predominantly white sport. So hopefully, I'm not sure if it will, but hopefully that at least, once again, starts conversation. And that's all you can really at this point hope for, is to start conversation.
Start a conversation. Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of people that like starting conversations, and mostly with himself, Kanye being Kanye. Yeah, I know you like that. That's a beautiful segue. I know.
Terrible this time.
Oh, I know. It was awesome. I know. So Hey, we are avid fans of Kanye on in the program. We ain't got no hate, no distaste for Kanye. But sometimes Kanye be doing some Kanye things, and you just gotta call him out on it. I don't know if you've seen the Twitter feed and whatnot recently and lately with Kanye's Twitter feed, but he's been, kind of going off and whatnot on certain things. It looks like you got a little bit something on your mind. You wanna get it off?
No, I'm just letting you explain.
No, I thought you wanted to go with it. I honestly thought you already had what you wanted to say, so I thought you wanted to go. Greg, look like you got something.
All I can get from that is Kanye's about to drop some music soon. That's pretty much what I get from it.
The man said he's not dropping music.
Every time he goes on these rants, there's some type of rollout coming. So I know when he went on those rants previously, Gap, other stuff came out. He was telling people that he's a billionaire now. So there's some type of rollout coming. Probably music, probably another fashion deal or something along those lines. I want to say it's music though. But I think there's nothing too deep about this. I think he's about to come out with something else. That's all I get from this now. The whole president shit was bullshit. All the stuff that Kanye was saying was bullshit. So he's going to roll out with something. So that's pretty much what I get from it.
Now, one of my favorite tweets that I'm actually on Kanye's Twitter right now, and I'm rolling down the feed because he brought up something for me sports-wise that I always talk about all the time when it comes to we talk about the players, but we never talk about the people that are behind the scenes making a lot more money than the players, and that's the owners that are the people, and then also other people that own certain things, like a Phil Knight. And he brought up the tweet that he said is Phil Knight's net worth is $40 billion. Michael Jordan's net worth is $1.6 billion, and Phil Knight never had to jump from a free throw line. When you Google Phil Knight, you barely even see his face, which I don't know what it had to do with anything, but it is true. He is worth $40 billion. Let me finish, and then he gets to the next tweet. He says, "When you Google us, we got a smile for the camera." He has 1.6 billion with Michael Jordan smile on the camera. Again, I don't know if he was trying to correlate something, saying that black folks got a smile when we doing certain entertaining things, and a person like Phil Knight don't even got to look at the camera. I don't know if he meant it like that, but if he was trying to compare net worth as in, hey, Michael might need to go into hiding to make more money, if he was trying to say that, I don't know if it was going to work like that. But
I don't necessarily think that's what he's saying.
I'm listening.
Me personally, okay, are you familiar with who Al Heyman is in the world of boxing?
You said Al Heyman?
Mm-hmm. Al Heyman. Y'all familiar with Al Heyman?
I haven't heard of Al Heyman.
I've heard the name.
Al Heyman pretty much runs PBC. You think of guys like Earl Spence, the Charlo brothers out of Texas fighting. He's one of those top tier level promoters, and he is very he moves kind of like an apparition through the boxing scene. It's probably like 3 or 4 pictures of him on the internet, but he's running shit basically. So I think when Kanye says stuff like that, and then with Kanye too, I really don't be feeling the majority of what he says. I think it's all shrouded in bullshit and like fake, like deep woke type shit, because that's what people want right now. But every now and again he kind of gets out the sunken place and kind of says some real shit. That's just how I feel. So I think the statement they're trying to make there was that quiet money is the best money type shit, and that's why I brought up Al Heyman. Al Heyman ain't never stepped in the ring, but he's paying brothers and putting people in better situations who want to do that while being in the background getting his bread. So I mean, I think.
I appreciate you saying that, because that's exactly where I was going. Greg was saying that Kanye always talking some bull, but I do feel like there are times where everybody want to jump on Kanye and they want to say like, oh, this dude crazy. He just be talking a bunch of nonsense. But every once in a while, he'll drop something in there that if just because you want to write him off, you don't pay attention to what he's actually saying. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the beef that's been going on with Joe Budden and Charlemagne. And
I have not.
Okay, where basically, Joe Budden, he's going through some things. He's getting out of his deal with Spotify. There's been some comments made by Charlemagne, and Joe has basically on his podcast come out and addressed it a couple of times, right? And what he has been talking about is kind of where I feel like Kanye was going, in the sense that he's saying, Greg, don't shake your head. Wait and let me tie it all together for you.
I just said my head, my nigga.
So what he's saying is he's talking about Phil Knight and how Phil Knight has got all this money, and for Michael Jordan, he isn't worth as much, right? And I feel like that goes back to me, I connect that to what Joe has been talking about, in the fact that Joe Budden has talked about, I own this Joe Budden podcast. Like, I own that. So when I feel like I'm not getting what I'm worth from Spotify, I then can take what I own in ownership and go somewhere with that. We as Black people don't own a lot of things. Michael Jordan, as much as he has done, doesn't own Nike.
Yeah.
He's not making money. Like, he's not getting paid what Michael Jordan should be getting paid. He's not getting paid his worth. Just because you got a brand on Nike doesn't mean you're getting paid ownership type money from Nike. And that's what Kanye is getting at. When in his tweet where he says, I need to see everybody's contract at Universal and Sony. I'm not going to watch people be enslaved. I'm putting my life on the line for my people. The music industry and the NBA are modern day slave ships. And then he says he's the new Moses. Everybody's just going to focus on, I'm the new Moses. But if you listen to what he's saying there.
No, he's right. He's right.
Mad, like, that is facts. Like, let's not ignore it because it's Kanye. That's facts, dude.
But here's the thing though. But here's the thing though. And I talk about it all the time as an athlete, is that the athletes are the one that's in the middle taking all the scrutiny for what they do. But again, the owners and the people behind the scenes are making so much money off of these guys that don't have to do anything. And by the time they get used and abused, guess what? We're going to bring another Negro in here and have them do the same thing. We make money off of them. And that's what the $40 million slave book came into play. Excuse me. When it comes to, just because these guys are making a lot of money, I know people look over, hey, why do you don't have any problems if you're making $20 million a year, right? But like you said, Ish, if you're making $20 million, but in reality you're supposed to be making $120 million, wouldn't you feel this type of way? I mean, just like right now, if you're making $30,000, but you're really supposed to be making $300,000, when you feel this type of way?
And I feel like that's where Kanye's coming from in this latest outburst, is he's having a reckoning with himself. Now, whether or not he's off his rocker, that's up for debate. But he's having a reckoning with himself that he has not been getting what he is worth. And he doesn't feel like he should keep putting music out if he's not going to get what he's worth. He doesn't own his masters. From what he's been saying, it appears he doesn't own his music. So you don't own your music. You're not getting paid and making the money off of the stuff that you're creating. You have basically given these people the money that they're making. And that's the same thing, like I said, Joe Budden was talking about with Charlamagne. Like, Charlamagne, think about the Breakfast Club and how big the Breakfast Club.
They don't own none of that, huh?
They don't own none of that.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. You said what?
Oh, iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. Yeah, so they literally just little figurines for iHeart, pretty much making money for the iHeart, yeah.
But here's the thing though. Dame Dash has been said this shit for years, my nigga.
And everybody thought he was
But everybody, as I'm saying, everybody laugh off Dame Dash because of who he is as a person though.
No, this is where the disconnect is between Kanye and Dame Dash. Why I brought Dame Dash up in this conversation. Kanye says a lot of bullshit. I want to stick with somebody that's actually consistent. Dame Dash has been consistent for years.
Okay, you can make that argument.
Shit about what Kanye is saying, because it's like I take a shit in the toilet, right? There's 10 turds in the toilet. There's one turd that doesn't stink. Turds, my nigga. They're turds.
Hey, hold on.
Just let y'all know, Greg from the country. He like to eat chitlins and fatback and all that stuff. So he got his analogy on things a little bit different from everybody else. But hey, if the shit stink, the shit stink, Greg, right?
It might not stink though. It might not stink, is what I'm saying. This is why I don't really give a shit about Kanye saying, because like it said like not too long ago. Kanye says a lot of bullshit, but every now and then, I'm already done listening to you. I want consistency when niggas are talking about black empowerment. Don't say all this dumbass shit and then come later. Oh,
I can't dispute that.
You own some shit. Be consistent, my nigga. Like come on.
I agree with that.
I respect that.
I agree with that 110%. And then also, I want to add to your point, Greg. The the thing too with Kanye that it's kind of in the back of my mind, and I wonder. It's like y'all said. It seems like something's on the way. Either it's gonna be more clothing product, more music, something like that. I've noticed that Kanye always has these little moments whenever there is something on the way, and then he does whatever he wants to do, and then he falls back into Trump is my daddy or whatever the fuck else he be saying. So it's like, how sincere do we think that he's being with this? Because though, I mean, shit, the devil could tell the truth, you know what I'm saying, and he's still the devil. So, like, how sincere do you feel about Kanye in these moments, and then how much credence do you give to what he's saying?
But here's the thing: I don't think that we necessarily have to think about how sincere he is. I think that if somebody says something that is legit, I take what you said was legit and I move on with it on my way. I'm not saying that you're a credible source. Like, I'm not going to go and have a conversation with somebody and be like, well, based on Kanye West, like that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is he is saying something that's legit that I can take and then, go do my own research and then go, build off of that. Like I said, like you said, Dame Dash, right? Kanye can lead people to the Dame Dash comments and what he's been saying about it, right? We can lead people into the discussion that Joe Budden and Charlamagne is having right now, because I think that's a very healthy conversation for us to have. Why is it that we don't own anything and we allow people to feed off the culture? Like, we are feeding a lot of these people. A lot of these people that are in these positions, we are just giving them all this money that they had. Then we complain about we don't own this. Why is it that it doesn't reflect what we want to? I remember a long time ago, people were talking about BET and how BET is technically owned by white people and they only put stuff that's bad for black people on there. And it's like, dude, we need to own these things. Like, let's stop allowing people to take the culture and do it. If we can do things on our own, let's do that on our own, right? This podcast, we own this podcast. We can do with this podcast what we want to do with it. We have that power on the podcast, right? And like Sire, Napoleon with the music, you guys own that. And that's what we need to keep doing. Own our stuff and make sure that we have the power behind it and don't sell it to anybody or don't let anybody misrepresent it. And I think that's what you take from what Kanye said. I'm not saying take that Kanye is a credible source, because he is not a credible source. We know that. But if he does drop a little bit of a dime, I'm going to take what he dropped and then I'm going to move on.
Thing about it is, though, like, I can listen to you because you're consistent. I can't listen to Kanye. That's the only thing that I want to have a conversation about in regards to Kanye. He can say all the real shit in the world that he wants to. He is inconsistent as fuck, and I'm telling you, he's going to drop some shit. He's going to go back to the same old bullshit ass coonery,
the sunken place
mentality that he's been on for I don't know how many years now. It is what it is. Sire agrees with me. He's going to drop some bullshit soon.
What if he drops? What if he drops?
He's been on Kanye West that we're talking about.
What if he drops just a real knowledge album?
A real knowledge gospel album.
Wasn't the last album a real knowledge album?
That's not what I'm saying.
Spread the word of Christianity. Isn't that not?
But yeah, what I'm asking you though, just in terms of black empowerment, what if he drops an album like that after saying this?
So do we necessarily need that from Kanye?
I don't need that right now.
I don't need that from Kanye.
Me either. I'm just saying.
Brett, honestly, we can revisit that conversation if that happens. It's not gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
I don't think it will. I'm just speaking in speculation.
All right, appreciate that speculation. Speaking of speculations that could happen, but most likely will not. Janet Jackson and Missy.
That was fire.
That's twice. So that was a good segue. I just messed it up.
He on the road.
A lot better.
Beer line up and get.
Can y'all stop? Can y'all stop? Can y'all stop?
Can you run that back?
Can y'all stop?
Hey, run that back. Okay.
Can y'all stop?
I was just speaking in speculation.
All right.
Okay, now go ahead. Go ahead.
Look at them blushing. Look at them blushing.
Wait, stop. Let him go.
Yeah, son.
Let him go.
Open your eyes, son.
Are you done?
Okay.
All right.
Speaking
of speculation, Janet Jackson and Missy Elliott were supposed to be on Versus. But Swiss Beats said that. And Ish, would you like to finish it up for me?
Yeah, I can finish it up. So Swiss Beats basically made some comments that he did not think that was a good matchup. He said, and I quote, Missy can be multiple people. Janet's going to just be Janet. And then he went on to claim that Janet might not have enough hits in the chamber to hang with Missy.
Now, Sire, you are our music guy on the show. How do you feel about that?
Sir, I mean, I agree but also my stance on it is I don't know if that's even a good matchup considering the styles. I mean, in boxing, they say styles make fights and combat sports, things like that. But Missy needs to be put up against like not Janet. Like you can put Janet up against Mariah or put Janet up against like Toni Braxton, like one of them. Like she can't step in the ring with Missy. Missy's doing MMA and Janet's doing boxing. Like it's not the same. And I also don't think she has enough hits.
He did follow up and say that he did not think Missy and Janet is a good matchup at all. Much love to Janet. Right. She's an icon, but I didn't feel that was a good matchup. So supporting what you said, Sire, and I like that you broke it down that way because I agree as far as style-wise. I don't think it's a matchup I would want to see. I don't think it's going to be a matchup that would be entertaining. I don't know about the hits part. I don't know about that only because I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't really listening to Janet Jackson like that.
I know a couple songs. I mean,
That's the way love goes.
It's all for you. The feeling. That's my shit.
Yeah, that Rugrats song. The song that's on the Rugrats.
That's Maya.
That's Maya and Blackstreet.
That's Maya and Blackstreet.
Oh, there's one fucking song on the soundtrack, you douchebag.
Maya and Blackstreet?
All right. Alrighty then.
I mean,
well,
but she also has "Be Rock My World" though.
I mean, but that's more Mike. Like
that's definitely Mike. She wasn't on that song. What are you talking about? That's Mike and Chris Tucker. She was on Scream with Mike and whatnot. What are you talking about?
You rock my world.
You rock my world. You know you did. Janet Jackson's not on that.
Yes, she is.
not on that.
Bruh, no, she's not. All right. Hold on. Before we go on to the next topic, hold up. Before we go on to the next topic, we're gonna have our producer make a late addition. And Mariah, can you help us out? Right quick? And apparently Brett feels like Janet Jackson was on the song
"Rock My World."
Rock My World. Can you help us out?
No. Mariah, you can't come in here and just start.
I mean, if you're wrong, you're wrong.
I know.
Thank you.
All right, so
thank you.
Now that we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next topic. And
my bad, Rhythm Nation.
He got "Rock My World" and "Rhythm Nation." Okay, alrighty then. Good job for you being confused. So
different art. My bad.
We have. All right, you guys good? All right. Anyways, we have the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. My bad. I was gonna say Bel Air. Fresh Prince of Bel Air reboot. Apparently it has been approved by Will Smith and the team of the Fresh Prince, cast and whatnot to go ahead and go on with this reboot. And it's not supposed to be, of course, like a Will Smith type of Fresh Prince. Apparently it's supposed to be a dark version of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So if you have seen the trailer, the trailer came out about a year ago. What's up? One more time. Sorry?
What does that mean? A dark version, like.
So again, so the trailer came out about a year ago. It was a crowdfunding trailer. When the trailer first came out, a lot of people thought it was, just a cool trailer that somebody made up. But apparently it got so popular that it reached all the way to Will Smith, and he saw it on his Instagram when he was, very active on Instagram when he first got his Instagram. He said, "Hey, we need to do something with this." Well, about 8 months later came fast forward to where we are now, and they're actually putting this in production where instead of it being a happy-go-lucky show like it was on Nickelodeon or NBC when it first came out, it's going to be more like a
real.
I don't know the best way. I guess you can say kind of like a
It's gonna be real. Like it's they're saying that they're going to address like real issues, like his transition from Philadelphia to Bel Air and like the issues that come along with it, like racism, that kind of stuff. They're gonna address that sort of.
Well, and I understand where you come from, Greg, because that's why I was kind of confused on why they're doing this in the first place. But I'll say this. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a show is very classic. And you can watch that show anytime, anywhere. Who knows how this can go? It might be a classic for this generation. You know, they might be able to watch this in 20 years and enjoy the same way we watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What's up, Greg?
I honestly think this is a cleanup job for Will Smith. All the entanglement shit, he needs a reboot on his life, to be quite honest with you.
That had nothing to do with no damn entanglement.
I think it is. I think it is. I think this.
No, it does not.
Anyway,
anybody else agree with Greg?
No.
Heck, that was so trash. You trash, man.
No.
You so fucking ass.
Greg is on his own.
How am I trash? You mad because nobody agree with you?
Bruh, I wish you did.
For the people out there that's watching the show, do you agree with Greg? If you agree with Greg, type a yes. If you don't, type a no.
Yeah, on this show, nobody agrees with me.
A lot of no's in the chat.
Small number in the world, Negro.
All right, don't be mad at me.
Do you agree? Mrs. Producer?
No. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go on with the next topic because there's also another reason why I went ahead and brought our producer on for this topic, because she's the one that went ahead and threw out this topic, because it is a very sensitive topic right now throughout the social media world, because this documentary on Netflix called Cuties apparently is very clickbait-ish right now, because people see certain segments of the movie and are saying that this is a pedophile type of movie. Now, Mariah, you said that you've seen this documentary. How do you feel about it?
Okay, when I first heard about it, I wasn't interested in watching it. I'm listening to all the opinions of everyone. I saw the clip just like everyone else did. But then there's this blogger that I follow, and she made a comment where she said that people should actually go and watch it because it has a positive message. So over the weekend, I watched it. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. There were some scenes that kind of made me cringe and I had to turn my head. But overall, it has a good message. After you watch it, you realize what Netflix did. They basically used propaganda and found like the most like salacious and hypersexualized clip of the movie and put that out as the trailer to make everyone go and watch it and get this uproar going, which is what's happening right now.
Yes, I
watched it.
Yes, I know. I definitely agree. Before the show, I watched about half of it. I have not finished watching it. I agree with you. There were some scenes that are kind of like, oh, I can see why people felt a certain way. But in 2020, I understand people are very sensitive to certain things. Again, we are in a clip-based society where if people see certain things, we're automatically going to assume it's one thing without actually getting the full scope and spectrum of things that are going on in the actual picture. So what do you say to people out there, Mariah, that have not seen the documentary and still are teetering on if they should even watch it or, do whatever with it?
I mean, the one thing about me is I can't stand people who make opinions based on other opinions. I think if you're going to have an opinion, make sure it's an informed opinion. So for the people who are making comments over a 30-second clip, you need to go watch it. Not saying that you won't think that it's, over sexualizing young girls, but you will still get the message in the movie.
All right. Have you guys checked it out?
Say that again?
Can you just tell me what the message is without me having to go watch it?
No.
Shout out to you, Mariah.
Come on. I just want to know what the message is. Just tell me what the point is. So I don't have to watch them.
Nope, go watch it, son.
Or you can just Google. I'm pretty sure somebody put it up.
Probably. A little 2-minute clip on YouTube or something.
I'm sure.
So, do you guys feel the same way after hearing these opinions right quick, or how you feel about the documentary? Will you change your mind to maybe watch it, or will you stay away from it? How do you feel?
Mariah said
I mean,
perfectly. You
me
can't
personally.
make
Go ahead. Go
opinions
ahead.
off of my fault. Like Mariah said perfectly. You can't make opinions off of other opinions. So I'm going to shut my ass up and let everybody else talk.
All right, sire.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not necessarily swayed one way or the other. The only thing that really bothered me about it, because I see the hype, but I kind of just watch it from the side, and I'm normally slow to, go in and look into whatever it's about. But I'm never here for like the sexualizing of children. I think that's something that's growing in this society. That's it needs to be checked. I mean, some of these same people who are outraged over this are probably some of the same people who are out here voting to classify pedophilia as a gender. So,
Oh, please
like,
no.
what are you really mad
And that's another topic for another day. You know, we can definitely get into that at another time. But again, you know, we just wanted to talk about that just for a little bit because again, we talk about topics that are, you know, a little touchy from time to time to talk about. So, you know, appreciate you guys for actually wanting to give your opinion on this topic. Last topic for the night. Finally, a little justice for the Taylor family. Breonna Taylor's family received a $12 million settlement from Louisville. Like we talked about in the pre-show, guys, money is cool. It's a nice band-aid to have for the wound that you're dealing with. But does that actually fix what happened and what we can fix in the future? Anybody can take it.
So I think it's important to note that while the money is what a lot of people get wrapped up in and tied onto, I think the part that should be discussed is what came along with that settlement. So as part of the settlement, the city agreed to establish a housing credit program as an incentive for officers to live in the areas they serve. They're going to use social workers to provide support on certain police runs and require commanders to review and approve search warrants before seeking judicial approval, among other changes. So that's just some of the changes that comes along with that settlement. What's going on?
Greg?
I kind of want to just go off of what it said and maybe ask everybody else this question. We spoke about earlier, well, I did specifically, spoke about earlier about consistency. So it's cool to make all these extra, different, negotiations and stuff like that, and, bring some type of, the housing credit, bring some type of things into play to make this, a situation that, can be better serving for the police officer, the communities. But are they actually going to do this stuff? That's the stuff that really bothers me about this. It's cool to make all these different, suggestions and recommendations, but is it going to be actually followed through? And that's my only thing I have to say about that. Do y'all think this will be a follow through thing for the Louisville Police Department?
I mean, I think that's for the citizens to hold their elected officials' feet to the fire. I think it's really for us to, continue the pressure that we have put on people. Like, a lot of these things and these discussions are happening because there's been pressure put on a lot of people to react. And if they don't react, then like the NFL, for example, some of these organizations who historically have been against some of these things, and now all of a sudden they're coming out, they're making statements, they're putting things out there on, jerseys, they got commercials coming out. Like, the pressure is what has made that happen. So if the pressure keeps up, yeah, sure, there'll be follow through. But if the pressure starts to die down because everybody's thinking like, oh, all right, well, we got some stuff, so let's, move on with our lives, then there's no reason to follow through. And I think it's been proven time and time again that once they feel like they've appeased you enough for you to be quiet, then they go back to doing whatever they were doing before.
Anybody else?
I mean, for me, so obviously it was the city that paid, right? Not the cops, right? And neither the police or the city admit any wrongdoing. So like, yes, they got the money, which is cool, but nothing was admitted. Obviously, it's a settlement, so that was probably worked out in the settlement. Um, Normally, you don't settle unless there's some type of wrongdoing, obviously. But you know, I just don't think that that's necessarily, like you said, ex justice. Like, so what does that mean in the future? Like, when if hopefully this never happens again, but let's say it does, right? Then we're just back in the cycle that we've been in for who knows how long, right? So it's just nothing. Honestly, I mean, besides a few things that you mentioned, it's like how much is really coming out of it is is what's being asked. And like, I mean, it takes everybody to hold people's feet to the fire. People who said they're going to do something about it, or saying, "Hey, here are the processes." We have to hold, we have to hold them accountable. And I mean, I don't know, but it's cool that they got something. I mean, because $12 million is normally more than what you would ever get from a police wrongdoing. So I'm glad they got that, but at the end of the day, like that's a life. How much is a life worth, right? How much does a life cost, right? For some people, $12 million could be cool. Okay, cool. I got $12 million, right? But for other people, $12 million is that doesn't replace somebody's life. So
True, true. Sorry, you have anything to say?
Yes, but first I want to ask a question. Does anybody know who the attorney or whoever the representative for the family is? Has that name been released yet?
The representative for their family,
For Breonna's family?
I believe it's Ben Crump.
Yeah, I was thinking that in my head. I
Uh,
can't think of anybody else besides Ben Crump that would probably be
right,
involved with it.
right, right. So, um, okay, so Ben Crump is like one of the most ambulance chasing ass niggas that I've ever seen. He only shows up when it's time for the family to settle. And normally when Benjamin Crump shows up, and mind you, I just want to say all respect to the family, all respect to that sister's life. Um, I'm not speaking on the family, what they're going through. I'm sure they're in pain, they're grieving. This is going to take years to heal. That 12 million ain't going to mean shit when they wake up tomorrow and Breonna still ain't here and that her killers still haven't been brought to justice. That's really not going to mean too much to them on that level. Ben Crump only shows up to make the family settle. And then once the family settles, the hashtags die down, and then we have another tragedy, and then he's running and chasing after that family trying to get them to settle. Me personally, the way that I was raised, the values that were instilled in me, the examples that I had as far as community and like justice, what it's supposed to be. I think we all kind of have similar ideals about these things based on upbringings. This money is what is it? You know what I'm saying? All 6, 8, whoever, how many of them it is, they're still walking around. Have they been temporarily suspended? Because they normally at least do that, and that ain't shit. I ain't heard about nobody getting fired or relocated or nothing like that. They're all still free, right? Okay. So nothing changed. But the family got paid. Cool. That's that. Um, these these state sanctioned killings will continue. These pointless losses of life will continue because the problem is top down. When we talk about the systematic oppression of foundational Black Americans in this country, it's deep seated. It's in the framework of the country. So just like everybody had that same energy, we had the same energy for Sandra Bland. We had the same energy for Philando Castile. We had the same energy for Freddie Gray. We had the same energy for Alton Sterling. We had the same energy for Trayvon, and so on and so on and so on. And all these families, were, satiated somehow through financial, settlements, things like this. What bothers me is that I don't want to see this be the new normal. I don't want people to only feel the need to revolt and to rebel until there's a settlement, because that's not fixing the problem. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can go too much deeper into that. I'm pretty sure, when I dropped out, y'all all pretty much said the same thing.
No, I mean what you're pretty much
agree.
saying. I mean
Yeah,
it's
I
a
agree.
cycle. It's an unfortunate vicious cycle that we've been in for so long that unfortunately we're so used to as an American society that anytime it changes, we look at it like, especially when us as black people are trying to make a change, people look at us like, why are you messing up a good thing? Leave what's a good thing going because we're so used to it and it's so normal to us as in I'm talking about white people and what they go on an everyday basis, as in 4th of July, Halloween, Christmas. Like, if it's a disruption going on, why are you messing up what I'm normally going through on my everyday basis? And that's what you got. All of us are saying is we have to keep putting pressure on the people that run things, not just in a political year, because they feel like, oh, it's easy to make a change here and there because we know in 2021 and in January and March, April, May, they're gonna forget all about this and we're gonna be able to do whatever we want to do. So,
They'll forget all about it.
exactly, Greg.
What? Go ahead. My bad.
I actually want to piggyback off of what Brett just said because it actually came to my mind. Brett says specifically about how much does a life cost. We need to start talking about how much does a black life cost. I think we need to be more direct with that because I don't know how much a black life costs. Do y'all?
I mean, to me, I brought up the other stuff that came in the settlement because to me, a life is priceless. So, like, I don't care what the settlement for the money is. Like, at the end of the day, that's not going to replace that person. So, shoot, I don't care what money that family got. Like, that to me is like, even any money you get, yeah, it's gonna be nice for a while or whatever, but that's a slap in the face. Like, shoot, the person I lost does not cost. It's not their life didn't cost 12 million. 1 million, 100 million, I don't care what you're giving. A life is priceless. We need to have more people outraged and we need to stop having this conversation with these moderates or whatever we want to refer to them as, that they are like, oh, well, racism doesn't exist. I'm not racist. I just want the status quo. Like, we need more of these people to stand up and start calling for these things, this justice. Because at the end of the day, a life is priceless. We should not be having these discussions about people losing their life over things like, oh, I thought he was selling cigarettes. Oh, we were doing this war thing. Like, no, we should not have this conversation. You're not shooting somebody in the back 7 times because they were going back to their car. Like, this is getting old, man. Let's stop having conversations about people's lives and how much it's worth. And let's start having conversations about not killing people. Like, that should be the base of the conversation. We should not be killing people. Like, why is it that we got to start talking about like what be happening stuff?
Well, that's what I was gonna get at as well. Like, was sorry about to say, it's a lot of people that feel like it's okay that you are a cop and you can go out and go kill somebody if you're a criminal. A lot of people feel like a cop can be a judge, jury, and executioner, and that's the sad thing about where we are at in society. Is, you remember when we did the show with Rob G and Adrian and Don, and they've pretty much said it themselves. It's like us as black people, we've seen it for so many generations of the way we've been getting treated compared to our white brethrens. But for some reason, it seems like they don't see it, even though it's so blatantly obvious in their faces. And we're getting to a point where in 10 years from now, again, technology is gonna span even more. There's gonna be even more blatantly obvious things that are going to make these conversations even more uncomfortable to have, because you're going to have an incident where it's going to be so blatantly obvious that this was messed up, and you're going to have to do nothing but say, you know what, you're right, because it's unfortunate we have to do this every year, every month, every week, it seems like, but here we are.
But my thing to you is, how more blatantly obvious can you be at this?
Well, that's a good question, Greg.
Like, what's the scale on that? Is there a measuring scale on that? I don't even know.
That's a good question, Greg.
I don't think it matters. Go ahead, Sire.
No, I was gonna say, it's just to piggyback off he said, like, what more do people need to see, right? Like, what more is it going to take? Because I think also there has to be a little bit more of a collective mind when it comes to these types of things. It has to be more of a collective stance, not just so much of I guess an individual stance. And I don't want to speak as if I want to make sure. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't want to cut you off. The question I have is for everybody. We hear the rebuttal from our white brethren when they will say white people get killed by the police more than black people. If that is the case, which statistics show that that is true, why is it that it seems like only black people are the ones that are always on the news instead of us seeing a white person getting, and I'm not advocating white people getting shot by the police. What I'm asking is, why are we not being able to see you guys in y'all traumatic state that you guys say that it happens every year? If statistics show this, where is the video? Because it seems like we only as black people get to see the videos of us on a consistent basis. What do you guys have to say about that?
Go ahead, Greg.
It kind of goes back, and it's crazy. We I feel like we're talking about this, and it's just crazy how so many different things can get tied into so many different topics. We live in a clickbait society, don't we? So black people getting slain amongst millions of people is entertainment to some people. I don't understand why that is, but it's been entertainment for a while now, and it seems to me like it kind of just goes back to way back in the days with slavery. They used to hang black people, and everybody used to be like laughing and mocking and stuff like that, and doing all these things. Oh, yeah. It's literally what we're doing right now in 2020, all over social media, all over the news outlets. And I don't see any white people getting that same type of, lens on that situation at all. So even though the statistics show that, like X said, statistics show that white people get killed more by police.
So now I might have just cut you off. The piggyback on what Greg was saying, the show that I don't really care for, but black people love watching is Maury. I don't know why black people love watching Maury when Maury's done nothing but disrespect the black community for 20 years and make millions of dollars off of it. I'm just saying, ish.
So I think the question you asked is a loaded question only because what the same people that you're saying you're asking them that question, a lot of them their response would be, well, because that's what fits the media's narrative. Like, white people being slain, it doesn't fit their narrative, so they're not going to cover that information. But black people being slain, that fits their narrative, so that's what they're going to put on. So that's why I say it's a loaded question, what you're asking, because you're basically giving them the ammunition to use to say, oh, fake news. Oh, the news wants to portray this divide and this and that and the third. To me, my answer to that is because that is often the case that does not receive justice, right? So we want to talk about situations where black people are being killed. And again, I cannot stand people that want to use that little boy's death as like some weapon of like, the media didn't cover this. Why is that? You know why they didn't cover that as much as they cover some of these other deaths? Because his killer was immediately found arrested, and trust me, they will throw that man under the jail. The problem we have is a situation like Breonna Taylor, where she is murdered and her killers are all still on the loose. That is why that is news. Because why in this day and age can we say without a doubt we know who killed this lady, yet we cannot arrest these people? Like, why is it we can't? Like, wrong is wrong. That's the problem. That's why these things are getting brought to light and why people are harping on them. Because it's wrong, we're showing you it's wrong, and you're choosing to ignore it. So that is the problem. Like these other situations that are happening, we don't know necessarily if, the police aren't getting held to it, which they probably are going to get, something's going to happen to them. Let's look at the situation in Minnesota where the officer shot the white lady and was immediately kicked off the force, was charged, all that stuff. Come on. Like that stuff is immediate. That is immediately when it happens the other way. It is normally not a question of whether or not it's going to happen. That stuff happens immediately. With black people, it does not. My thing is, and that's the thing, I don't harp on people and say, I'm not somebody that's not going to use the facts and go and just jump on the police and say, oh, the police are just killing everybody. Like, no, I'm not going to just jump to conclusions. But what I'm saying is the situations we are seeing, something happens and then nobody's held accountable. That's the problem. Nobody's held accountable. So that is why we all are out here saying something needs to change. Again, X, you're going to hear from the other people. It doesn't fit the narrative. That's why you're not going to see it. Fake news, yada, 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 fake news.
And you are correct on that one, sir. You are correct. Anybody else got anything to say about this topic before we finish it up for tonight?
Yeah.
I want to say something before Sire goes. Sorry, Sire. It's just kind of weird when a black cop, like what happened in Minnesota, kills a white person. It's immediate, grand opening, grand closing, right? When a white person kills a white cop, specifically kills a black person, all of a sudden there's a judicial process. I think that's kind of weird, but go ahead.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, and it's been thrown in our faces, ad nauseum, and I mean, it just is what it is, man. I mean, when we talk about some of these police stations, counties, whatever it is, clearly being infiltrated by white supremacist, white extremist organizations, Proud Boys, Boogaloo Boys, whatever you want to call them, the countless numbers of, cops they have on file. The FBI tell you that white extremists are the number one threat in this country and will be until 2021. I think it's the latest thing they put up. We know that the history of police came from catching and detaining and returning slaves because they were considered property. And the whole point of that, police is to protect and guard business. So, I mean, whose business is it that black people are mistreated, and who benefits from that? Who gets revenue from that? Who gets to succeed and thrive because we get stepped on as a whole? Like, I think it's blatant. It's not something that I think is necessarily a quick fix, but I don't think it's as hard as you think it is. I think it just takes, like I said, a collective kind of conscience and a collective attitude pushing in the right direction against the bullshit, calling the bullshit out immediately, and not allowing ourselves to be satiated by payoffs and fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants to talk about what's the dude, who's the president, Trump or whatever. Trump this, Trump that. All right, the same shit was happening under Obama. Same shit was happening under Clinton. Same shit was happening under all these other fuck niggas back in the gap. So you can't tell me that my vote is going to change some shit. Why would I be a part of a process of a system that has continuously throughout time showed me that you don't give a fuck about me or mine? How could I participate in that? That's like me saying I'm complacent with what was happening. I don't get it.
I'm glad Jamel wasn't on for that episode.
I know, right? I was just thinking that.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on, you said who? Oh, Jamel. Oh no, who in the future? If we need to, Josiah said he's free next Tuesday. If we need to get Jamel on here, we might need to bring him back on here. We might need to have this conversation.
No. We want to save this close to election time, though. That would be a fire around.
Well, who knows? Maybe we can have a couple rounds of these guys going back and forth at it. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But we definitely need to get these guys in on Kinfolk and Them to wrap up tonight. We're gonna talk about the Eastern Conference Finals right quick with the Celtics and Heat. Game 1 just finished up. The Heat won Game 1 barely with a Jimmy Butler. Nice little N1 to finish out that game and to come back and win Game 1. How do you feel about this series right quick? Ish, Greg?
Yeah.
Brett.
Ishmael, go ahead.
Mariah.
Somebody? Yeah, all right.
I mean, I think it's a good matchup.
Surprised the Heat won.
Oh.
You said what?
Wow.
You said what?
I said I was surprised the Heat won.
Oh, I'm not. Why?
Because y'all said that I can't be surprised by things. All my
here you go. Anyway, here this fool go.
We never said you can't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not letting go of that way. I'm not letting go.
We said that your surprises aren't surprises. There's a difference.
At all.
You still haven't defined what a surprise means to you yet.
I don't think he can because I don't think
like
he knows.
dodging my question. I don't know why.
Y'all want to know what a surprise is to me?
That the Rockets lost.
No, that the
No.
Rockets won the game one, and everybody in Houston thought they were going to beat the Lakers. That was a surprise to me because the Western Conference Finals. Because the Western Conference Finals, if the score holds up right now with the Nuggets and the Clippers, it looks like the Nuggets are going to go ahead and win Game 7, and they're going to play. Huh?
It's over.
You said, Brett? Oh, my bad. It's over with. My bad. I apologize. The game is over with. The Nuggets are going to play the Los Angeles Lakers West Conference Finals. It was not the matchup I'm assuming everybody was expecting to have when the season first started, but that's why you played a basketball game. And it looks like the Lakers most likely will win this series and go on to the finals.
So can I just say real quick? It proves my point that the NBA is rigged. They just want LeBron to win. I'm done with that.
Rigged? How? In what way?
It's rigged.
All right. Well,
I was talking shit about the Rockets. I don't have to explain myself.
See, this is what happens. When Rocket fans lose. They don't want to, admit defeat. They over here. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking about Houston Rocket fans. They want to be upset because when they lose, because all the mess they was talking, they don't want to own up to it. They just want to run from that. But we here, son. We got a show, son. We gonna have to talk about it, son. Not just you, Greg, but everybody else in Houston want to go run and tell that. Now we're going to have to talk about it. Come on, Kinfolk and them. Come on, Kinfolk and them, and come talk about it. No matter who you are, H-Town representative. Come on the show, baby. Come on the show.
I feel so bad.
Don't name drop me. I'll let you get your shit off. Don't talk.
Anyways.
Mariah,
Anyways.
How do you feel about this?
I don't feel away at all.
Anyways, I appreciate everybody for tuning in on this episode of Kinfolk and Them with our, of course, most favorite guest, Sire, and also our producer, Mariah. We'll see you guys next week right here on the Sports Plug, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern.
Why would you say it like that?
Hopefully, Napoleon will be back, but and hopefully Greg don't say that anymore. Please stop. See you guys next time.
Lord have mercy.